Welcome back to On the Record. We're here in the middle of Richmond Hill, outside on a beautiful day, and I'm here with Robert Burko, who is the founder and CEO, I guess,
Indeed.
of Elite Email.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So, I'm going to put it a different way. We're going to change this around from a normal one, because it's what you do is right up what I'm trying to figure out how to do for my own company. So after 30 years of sending out ChannelLine on a daily basis and going out through all these home-built methods that we had, which were at the time state-of-the-art.
Sure.
However, everybody's telling me that they're way, way behind. The last time we actually updated was in 1997.
Outstanding.
But unfortunately, every time we go out now, we have this breaks or that breaks or that breaks. So you do email marketing, basically,
Yes.
or help people with their email, but marketing would probably be a better way to say it.
Yeah, I would say, effectively, we help people achieve their marketing goals using email as the platform. And the nice thing is, because EliteEmail.com is in the cloud, that issue of things breaking, you don't really have to worry about it. We've been around for 10 years, it's bulletproof, it works really well. We have big clients and small clients, so because of that, when you're using Elite Email, you know that you're using a trusted partner, and more so than that, we also get you to the inbox because technology over the years has changed a lot. So what you might have been doing 10 years ago, certainly in today's climate where people are now checking email on their mobile devices and their desktops and everything else, the landscape has really changed. So, one of the things we always say is not all emails are created equal, right? The goal is to drive results for your business. What are your marketing goals and how can we achieve those through email? So we really focus on the analytics. So when you're sending email through these, old school kind of, our typical, mail servers, well, do you know who's opening it, when they're clicking, who's sharing it, who's forwarding it, where in the world are they, what time are they opening it? There's this whole backstory that you can really capitalize on to get better results.
Yeah, so when we first started out, they weren't talking about metrics and they weren't talking about any of this stuff that you're talking about. And of course, they didn't have to worry about, are you allowed to send to these people or that people or whatever. Back then, there was no rules. But we had all the top people in the IT industry phoning us up and saying, how did you do it? How are you sending out stuff on a newsletter that looks so good? Now, if you looked at what we probably did back then, if I looked at it back then, I would look at it and go, my goodness, it looks like a Excel spreadsheet or something like that.
Indeed.
But it's really changed. So what I want to do is I want to get real simple on this and take advantage of the fact that I've got the microphone in my hand. So I'm going to tell you about my specific where we are.
Okay.
We go out to about 200,000 people. We every business day. In that 200,000 people. Some of them get one email a day, some of them get two, some of them get three, some of them get four, because we have 4 different publications.
Okay.
And the odd days we send out, stuff for clients or if there's a special story or something like that, we send out for that. What would you suggest we do, or should we stay exactly with what we're doing?
Well, the key is looking
and if you say exactly what we're still doing, this is over.
You're doing great. No, the key is you start by saying, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go with your email marketing, right? What's your objective? Because you're sending out all these emails and that's great, but the act of sending the emails is not what you want. We're looking for engagement. We want people opening the email, clicking on the links, engaging with it, sharing it with their friends. So what you have to do is take a step back and say, okay, my goal is not to send 200,000 emails a day. My goal is to engage with as many contacts as possible. So using that as your starting point, we can look at segmenting your mailing list. So you said you have 4 different publications, but is everyone the same in those groups? Do you have East Coast people and West Coast people? Do you have some people that are more engaged and may want more emails, and some people that are less engaged and may want less emails? So the whole story starts with your database. That's really step 1. So when you call up EliteEmail.com and you're talking to your account executive, they're going to say, let's look at the data first. Because once you can segment your data, now we say, okay, now let's match the creative to our data segmentation. And once we do that and we start sending out emails, now we use all those metrics and things that people 10 years ago were only dreaming about. Now we use all those metrics to say, hey, these people are really engaging with this content. When we use that subject line, this was really effective. When we use that subject line, it was less effective. So even simple things like A/B testing your subject line, A/B testing your email content, your calls to action, even something as simple as, what time are you sending emails? We work with clients all the time where they say, we're sending our email at 4 in the morning because we want that email to be in their inbox first thing in the morning. Well, that's great, but when someone gets to the office at 9 a.m., all the emails from the day before come rushing into their inbox, and why would you possibly want to be part of that clutter? So as simple as changing your send time from 4 in the morning to 10 a.m., 2 p.m., something like that, which the metrics tell us, that can take your engagement to an entire new level. And once you achieve that degree of engagement, now you're using email to the fullest potential. So that's really the goal, not sending, but the engagement.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because when you talk about that, we always post all of our articles before about 10 o'clock at night. And it could be as much as 6 or 7, but it depends on what's going on. So we post them, and we have about 10,000 people, I guess, in that range, who come on into our site. So they don't wait for us to push it out.
They want it now.
They come in there, and we've said to them, so do you think we should send it out at night? And they've came back to us and said no, because they want to be the first to have the news. So yeah, it's interesting. So now I guess we have to go to these people and say, hey, would you like us to automate that so it comes back to you, but we won't do it for everybody else? Or I don't know.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, because at EliteEmail.com, we have over 80 different interactive reports. So we could really drill down. So for instance, you may have people who love reading your news early in the morning. You may have people who love reading your news later in the day. Well, what we could do is we could actually take that group and segment it. So different people get the different messages, because one of the kind of our motto is always the right message, the right person, the right time. So the more we can help you achieve that goal, the more you're going to be able to reach out to those prospects. So these people may want to, may love going on your site at 10 p.m. and other people may love reading it the next day at 2 p.m. The key thing is we want to learn and understand what that consumer loves the most, because once you do that, you're going to hit the right person, the right message, and the right time. And that's really the true goal at Elite Email.
Interesting. Now, the rules about privacy in Canada anyways are supposedly changing. And I'm using that word supposedly, although they will change. They will change. It's just,
they will change.
Yeah. And hopefully they'll take a long time to do that, because right now it doesn't sound too good. What are they talking about right now?
So Canada has a new law. It's called CASL, Canada's anti-spam legislation. It's been around for a while. They're trying to make it happen. It keeps being delayed. You can gasp at the shock of our government not really moving that quickly, and that doesn't really shock anyone. But basically, they want to change the landscape and make a new set of rules that really govern how email is supposed to work. How do you collect the data? What's opt-in? What are you doing with the data? So they really want to change the landscape. The problem is people are really outraged, because it's kind of, the argument is it's a law to prevent spam. But when you get under it, it really isn't going to do that. A lot of spam is sent from overseas. Very little spam originates from in Canada. And although the government says, yes, we're going to be able to go after spammers anywhere in the world, that's just not going to happen. I don't think anyone believes that's going to happen. So what it is doing, though, is it's taking legitimate email marketers and saying, listen, here's the new rule book. And it's not just email. Mobile messages are included too. Everything kind of digital is included. And it's saying, here's the new rule book. And for a lot of marketers, they're saying, geez, it's a lot of what we were doing before, but now it's extra red tape and extra steps. So now you need to make sure, if you have a sign-up form, for example, before you could pre-check the box saying, yes, I want to receive your email. And now all of a sudden, if you do that, it's essentially against the law. That doesn't work anymore. So you have to make sure that the box is unticked and people check the box to say, yes, I want to receive your emails. And then you have to capture their IP address to say, this is when the person opted in to give me permission. And the problem is, a lot of marketers now, like you guys and everyone else, have these massive databases. You've been playing by the rules. You're not a spammer. You guys aren't doing anything wrong. People love getting your emails. However, now all of a sudden, yeah, no problem. Now all of a sudden, CASL is going to come into effect, and there's a new rule book you have to play by. And you're going to say, I wasn't doing anything wrong before, but you have to go and reconfirm all of your contacts to make sure once CASL comes into effect that you're playing by the rules. Because if you're not and you're found guilty, and the way this law is written, it doesn't have to be the government coming after you. Anyone can sue you essentially for violating CASL. You can end up in hot water and have to pay $1 million penalty. So the stakes are very high for you to play by the rules. And a lot of marketers are saying, you're changing the rule book on me, but there's no real value added here. So that's kind of why it keeps being pushed back. But marketers need to be aware of it, and that's why we're working with all of our clients, because if you use Elite Email and you're trusting, we know what we're doing and we know that we're looking out for you, we need to be ahead of the curve. So even though this law probably won't come into effect for a year, we're helping our customers now because we want them to be ready. We don't want them to say the law comes into effect tomorrow, oh my God, what are we going to do? We want them to be ready now so that when it does come out and the final legislation is finalized, we're already set.
Do you think they'll grandfather names in?
They have made a point of saying no. It'd be nice.
I know that.
Yeah.
I want to know if you think they will eventually.
I don't think they will, because if they do that, then this law is going to change very little. I mean, it'll be a go forward basis, but they're going to say it doesn't do enough in the past. So unfortunately, who gets hurt the most is the new marketers and even the new small business, because whereas people now, you can email someone and say, hey, I think we could do business together. The small business owner wants a good lead, but now all of a sudden with the new rules, they can't do that.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for coming. I just want, before we go, say congratulations. Today's your 10th year.
10-year anniversary.
10-year anniversary.
Absolutely.
And you've got what, about 3, 4, 5 customers?
Yeah, we got about 10,000 customers around the world, and yeah, I can't believe 10 years. It's amazing how time flies.
Well, in the next 10 years, you'll probably be up to 100,000.
Oh, I hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you.